Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Ho and welcome to this panel by Centre for Future Ready Graduates. I'm here with three of our amazing students and alumnus who will feature in NUS Career Fest 2022, which is the university's largest career fair. Before we get going, let's do a round of self-introduction.
Hey everyone, my name is Rohit. I'm a final year student at NUS and I'm majoring in quantitative finance, which is from the Faculty of Science. And I'll be graduating in December 2022 instead of the conventional May 2022 because I just ended a 6-month LOA internship at SGX.
Hi, I'm Kaiyue. I graduated from NUS Mechanical Engineering in 2021 and I'm currently doing Masters of Business Analytics at NUS as well. At the same time, I'm doing full-time in Shopee in the field of digital marketing.
Hi everyone, I'm Charles. I graduated in July 2021. Like Kaiyue, I was also trained as a mechanical engineer, but over the course of my studies, I decided to move towards the field of tech, and now I'm in Payla as a business analyst and software engineer.
Awesome, I think you guys have all very exciting career plans, if not career history in itself. Tell us more about how you land your roles right now and what was the journey like in university. Maybe Rohit can go first.
One of my biggest takeaways from university is actually the NUS Investment Society, which I actually joined in my first year as a global macro analyst. And I believe that the 2 years over there really shaped what I wanted to do in terms of my summer internships, as well as what I wanted to do as a full-time career, which is to actually go into global markets. And I think that is one of my biggest takeaways.
How about you, Kaiyue? You came from engineering background and now you're at Shopee doing marketing. That must be quite an exciting transition, right, in terms of the domain of knowledge. How did that come about?
It's actually started from my first internship as the industrial attachment required by my faculty. So in that internship, I worked as a project engineer at a manufacturing company. Then after the 6-month internship, I realized I was not very interested in engineering. So I was trying to explore new opportunities. And I found some internships in marketing, and I think, it's quite interesting. So that's why I landed a full-time job in marketing.
And you're managing that together with your master's in school?
Yes, correct.
Wow, that must be insane. I'll go back to you and ask you about time management advice later. Sure. What about you, Charles?
For me, I think in year 2, like Kaiyue, I realized that I have interest in programming after taking a few modules in CS1010, Orbital. Orbital, it was a module in independent software development. And then after that, I went on NOC in year 3. And then I realized that I was more like a generalist, right? So I decided that I actually want to go deeper into the world of tech, but I aspire to be a product manager in future. So when I went to DBS as part of the SEED program called the Skills Enhancement and Education Development Program, right? My manager actually asked me like, what do I aspire to be? Then he mentioned that, okay, you want to be a product manager, so why not I just put you in a business analyst role while still enabling you to learn more about tech as a software engineer. So that's how I end up to be where I am today.
I believe both of you may have also tapped into the career advisors as well. How's the experience like and how did that help you?
In our 3rd year of mechanical engineering, we have industrial attachment, right? So in my 2nd year, I attended CFG, I forgot the module code, 1002, I think.
I know which one, yes. Okay.
2NC1.
Like the very early ones.
2NC1. So like I felt that module was actually very useful because like what Rohit said, like actually I learned how to showcase my achievements and my skills on my resume. Some parts in the module, they ask you to practice interviewing, right? Correct. So I think that was particularly useful, especially when it came to my application to NOC and my internship interview during NOC. Yeah, so that was particularly useful. So I think shout out to Mei-Yin and Luis for helping me back then.
Also, yeah. What about you, Kaiyue?
I agree with Charles. So I believe that CFG always brings me luck. The first the first course I attended on CFG is the CFG 1002. Then the next day I got my offer for my industrial attachment.
What?
Wow.
Really? But did you see the advisors out of the module?
No, I didn't see I didn't have a one-to-one face-to-face session in my year 2, but that was a course. So it's
for me, I think in year 1, I think I was speaking to one of the business career advisor. The problem was because I was doing 2 degrees, one in business and one in comms and new media. So I was quite confused on how I should like map my different modules and how would that help or guide my career decisions as I apply for internships. So for my experience, it was really useful because she kind of like laid very clearly and kind of like probed me with difficult questions that I may want to avoid answering myself or what I really want to do, and that helped me guide like planning my modules or even applying for internships. So I can see where you guys are coming from. Now, can I jump back to Charles? You are now an alumnus, and you are seeing that things have changed so drastically over the last few years in the pandemic. And I'm sure that our fresh graduates like yourself are facing new prominent challenges. So what tips do you have for those people who are dealing with this very changing job landscape right now, and what can they do to better prepare themselves?
During the pandemic, of course, I think there are 2 main problems. So the first problem is, of course, the job search, because I think some companies, they may be looking to cut costs. So the amount of jobs may be lesser than the demand for jobs. So of course, it is actually important for the applicant to learn to highlight their skills, achievements through their resumes, practice their interviewing skills, and even practice networking on LinkedIn. Yeah, and the second problem and challenge that I would say is when you are already employed in a company, it can be quite challenging to have a presence in the office because there is no office. Because I think as a fresh graduate, you want to network within the company so that you know what everyone else is doing in their respective functions, and then you also want to make friends lah. I mean, you want to build a relationship with your colleagues. But nowadays it's always like Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams meetings, so it can be quite challenging to build that bond within the team. And I think that is one of the bigger challenge actually. So I think fresh graduates, when they join a company, they should make the proactive step to try to start conversations, albeit virtually lah. Yeah.
I want to talk about time management, which is really important. So jumping back to you, Rohit, so you are holding this clock in the NUS Career Fest poster. Tell me what's the intention behind it? Is it about time management, or is it to flex your cool new find from SGX?
No, actually, clock kind of like signified the whole theme of time management, which I think was one of my biggest lessons from university. I think especially when I was staying on campus, I was very, very busy juggling a lot of different co-curricular activities, summer internship applications, and the overloading of modules. So I think it was very, very important for me to come up with like a daily schedule and kind of like pinpoint out which are the more important tasks to focus on, to really plan out my deadlines on a daily basis, and to just know how my schedule is like. So I think I relied on that clock quite extensively during my time at NUS. Yeah.
So what's like one tip that you give people staying, especially in campus, right? Or they have a couple of CCAs going on. How should they plan their time and their schedules to optimize the output?
I think the most important thing for me would be to actually come up with like a daily planner, to write down everything either via computer or in like a small little notebook, and then just highlight those very, very key important deadlines, because I think at the start I was just doing so many different things. I was missing out on deadlines. I had to rely on friends for like important reminders. So I think from that time onwards, I really decided to come up with this small little like notebook that I had to really pen down everything down. So I think that's one of my biggest advice in terms of that aspect.
What about yourself? You are doing both full-time work plus masters. I don't even know how that is possible. So how do you manage your time in that sense?
I believe like in terms of time management, Rohit has talked about. But for me, I think the most important thing is to separate and split these two things. So if we are working you are working with your colleagues and working on your project, then don't think about your masters. And at the same time, if you are like taking master modules and you are working on your like coding stuff, then don't think about your work projects. Also, another thing very important is to be prepared for sacrifice some of your night times and weekend times.
So from what you're saying, it's really have to compartmentalize your state of mind such that like you are very focused in work and you're in the work zone, and if you're studying for your master's, that is a separate compartment where you're laser focused on that so that you can be the most productive in both fields. And of course sacrifices of some social life and fun because you are really trying to do both as well as you can at the same time.
Yes.
I'm sure NUS Investment Society has helped you a lot, not just in your personal branding, but also in putting yourself out there in the finance world. So how do you advise students to make the most out of their club experience, whether it's in investment or other CCAs?
Right, I think something that is very important is actually the connection that you build with the seniors in the club. I think it's very, very important for you to showcase what you're interested in and kind of where you want to go career-wise or even internship-wise. And then you slowly reach out to seniors who have had similar experiences and just kind of understand how they've underwent their application process, how their interests could potentially align with you. And at the same time, I believe you should always take initiative in whatever you do in life. So in your activities or your co-curricular activities, you could maybe propose something, you could propose a change, you could propose a new initiative. So I think these are skill sets that are very, very valued during internships as well. And I think building on my internship experience, I think one of the most important takeaways that I faced from that is that it is very important to build rapport with not just other interns that you meet, but also the full-time colleagues. Because one observation that I think I noticed was that a lot of interns don't really like to mingle with the full-timers. They just like to stay within their own bubble and just work hard on their own daily tasks. But I think for me, going one step forward, the one thing that I love to do is to just walk up to a full-timer and just say, hey, do you want to go out for coffee? Do you want to go out for lunch? And build up these connections in life, because I think going forward, you never know how these people could actually feature out in your life, right? So I think it's very important to establish connections pretty early.
And I'm sure all these full-timers must be very happy that you display some sort of hunger and also drive in, having the courage to talk to them, also, putting one foot forward to ask them out for coffee and lunch. And I'm sure they will be more than willing to spend time giving you tips or even telling you guys about their own experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of the full-timers at my previous internships, they actually take up like 30 minutes to even 1 hour out of their busy schedules to go out for coffee or even just sit by the desk and just share their own experiences, give me really valuable advice on how to break into the industry, and even provide me with tips on how I could further excel during my internship.
Awesome. I think just adding on to your CC experience, for myself in NUS Alumni Ventures, it has helped me significantly in career aspects. Two things, right? One is I get to represent an organization, which makes it easier for me to reach out to people who are perhaps very high profile people who may not have the time to speak to individual students, but coming from an organization, it was very easy to network with people even from the C-suite to get to know them better, and building that network helped a lot in getting referred to quite a few places, and that's how I landed a few of my roles. And the second thing is I learned things that I didn't learn in business school because I specialized in marketing, but I was very interested in investment in the private sector especially, right? So in my CC I learned a lot about like angel investment, the funding cycles and all that, and then that eventually helped me land a VC role in NOC. So I think the networking element plus learning a completely different field out of your faculty was really helpful, and that's only if we have the curiosity and the drive to make the most out of our CCA as well. So we know that the job hunting season can be very stressful, so much pressure because not all companies hire year long, right? So I want to find out more about what you guys do to better equip yourself for more chances in securing the roles that you apply.
I think for my case, because I was trying to pivot from a mechanical engineering academic background to something that's more generalist in the tech world, right? So I always tried to go on LinkedIn to look up various profiles. So like my mechanical engineering seniors, how did they pivot into the tech world? What were some traits that they exhibited? Did they have a lot of personal projects in tech? Or did they previously have a lot of internships in maybe product management? So when I realized that, okay, these are the specific traits and profiles that the employers are interested in, then I will leverage similar traits that I believe that I have during these interviews, and then hopefully that I get the job.
I see. So, you know, speaking to like seniors and knowing like what exactly got them to that role kind of helped you structure like your interviews and to kind of exhibit certain traits that they may be specifically looking out
So
for.
actually, beyond just looking through their profile, sometimes I would arrange maybe just a text or even a call with these seniors to understand how they cope with the interview, and if they were previous interns at a specific company, or maybe they are currently working there, then I would also ask them about their working experience, how's the culture like, and just try to find out more about the particular company so that I gain a better understanding on whether I myself feel that it's a good fit for a company, because it works both ways, right? Yeah.
I think for me, so I always wanted to delve into the sales and trading space. So I think closer to the internship application season between September to November, I read up a lot more on Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal on what's happening in the macro space. Apart from that, during the video interview process, you know, I just switched on the camera and I was just practicing interview questions on my own, and focusing more questions about myself as well as technical questions that could be asked. And then closer to the final round, when it's a face-to-face or a Zoom interview, then I usually reach out to interns, to previous interns on LinkedIn who have interned at that particular firm, just to ask for advice and tips on what they were asked for, just to better prepare myself.
So I can see a few key things that we can do during job hunting season. One is to network, get to know people who are in that role previously. You know, identify what are some of the key skill sets that employers might be looking out for. And also second is to make sure that you are well equipped in terms of practicing for your interviews, plus reading up about all the like macro landscape, so that you are always ready for any interviews. Awesome. Okay, before we end this panel, any final career tips or advice that you have for our students and fresh graduates watching it right now?
I guess for me, the message that I hope all my juniors would have is to actually really know your value. So by knowing your value, you would know your strengths and weakness, and you will know what to work on before any job application. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I want to say trust yourself and be patient and determined. So the job will always be coming, but what matters is like how long it will take for the job to for you to land the job.
I think for me, the most important thing across my 4 years in university is to really discover your passion. CAP isn't everything at the end of the day. You should really focus on just understanding what you want to pursue through internships, through meeting new people, through taking on various co-curricular activities, and from that you can really understand what you would like to discover going forward. And I think I would like to end off with a personal quote, which is Carpe Diem, or seize the day. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us your career advice and experiences. I have learned so much from three of you guys, and I'm sure the students watching have learned a lot as well. Do join us for NUS Career Fest 2022. This year's one is a hybrid format. The physical fair is happening on the 15th and the 17th of February. The virtual one is happening on the 22nd and 24th of February. So you can network with employers and explore over 1,000 job opportunities from 20 different industries, and also join us for pre-event preparatory workshops, talks, career advisory clinics, as well as to win amazing prizes when you join us in our challenges. Do look out for very exciting Instagram giveaways as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for sharing with us one more time. Thank you and have a good day. Goodbye. Bye.